Good evening and welcome to my home on this nice fall evening. We are literally fall. We are September 21st, and I did not expect to make another video like this year, but seems like here I am. We've had, for those who do not know, I live in zone 2, and usually our growing season is really short. Some years I just took out everything in the garden starting like at the end of August. So this year I was a little bit discouraged by the garden, and when September came I was like, I'm done, it's over. But Mother Nature said otherwise. We've had a huge heat wave for the past month. We've had one night of almost frost, which froze one or two plants, but really not that much. But now my garden is at the same time at its worst and at its most beautiful because everything is growing wild. But I did stop caring about it like 100%. I've came here maybe once or twice a week in the past weeks for all of September, so it's really wild. A lot of my things, my tutors and things like that, fell, but I'm coming tonight to harvest, which I didn't think would happen anymore, so I'm kind of glad about it. But I have to admit that I am done with summer. As much as sometimes I would like to have a longer season, when I was not ready for it, when I was done, I was done. I didn't want some more heat. I really feel like being in fall right now. I love fall. Fall is really, I would say it's my favorite season. I would not mind, like, I quite am jealous a little bit sometimes from people in the south, just because your winters, I would not move there because I do like our winters, but sometimes I look at those videos and I'm like, basically they have fall like all winter long. That's my favorite time of the year, when you have to go outside and it's fresh and there's no snow. You don't have to put like huge boots and things like that, but you have to put a hoodie on, and there's not many bugs and things like that. So all that to say that I can't wait for fall, and starting tomorrow it's starting to get cooler, which is why I'm going to harvest tonight a few things. For one of the first time in my life, I've had ripe big tomatoes on the vines, but most of them are eaten by the slugs. We are going to look at the coop for a second. I don't know how much I've talked about it, but we did get some turkeys this year, which are getting pretty big, and I think nature is great, because I was really not sure about processing some meat, because I had these. They were teeny tiny chicks, so I thought it would hurt me, but I'm starting to get scared of them. They are getting big. They are kind of dumb. So they follow me everywhere and they try to pick me, and I'm starting to feel that I'm not really attached to them anymore. Look at my coop. I've had these grids like going under the ground like this for 2 feet. There is no hole anywhere. The biggest holes are these, just here. The grid is like that all the way around, plus we have some grid over it. It's wobbly, but it's there. And at first our turkeys were jumping from this to the top and getting away, so I did put the this grid. Did I say grill? I mean grid, all the way there, so they can't get out. But somehow you can see a little bit everywhere. There are white feathers everywhere in the coop. Somehow I had a white chicken snatched, and I have no idea how. I have 4 of these. I realized one night this week that one was missing, but I'm not counting them every day. So I don't know how long she's been missing, but I mean, surely something came and took her, because I mean, there's no other feathers than, or almost none, other than white feathers. So I really don't know what to do about that. So I bought a camera that I just put there this afternoon, but I don't know if it's going to be useful, because I wanted it because it's connected to my cell phone, and I receive some alarms when there is movement, and dumb me didn't realize that there is always movement. And this chicken disappeared during the day, because this closes during the night. So I'm not looking at it as much as, I mean, there's no alarm telling me that there's unwanted movement. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, because I'm thinking that maybe a weasel, but how would a weasel get the chicken out? And from what I've read, when a weasel comes in, it kills almost everything. So that's not like, I mean, it could, but I don't think so. And the chicken had to get out somehow, because there's no carcass. There's nothing. There's no blood. There's just feathers. So yeah, mystery. We have this little dude here that is our rooster. We actually got it as a chick, and we were not sure, but pretty sure. And it's confirmed that it's a rooster. It started to yell, to sing, but somehow, for some reason, he's doing it during the night. So sometimes, but it's not super loud. I don't think it's waking up the neighbors. Luckily for us, even if the days are super warm, the nights are kind of cold. So I'm hoping, I mean, my neighbors, I know one of my neighbors really like roosters. The other one, I'm not sure, but I mean, we get along really well. I mean, she's going to tell me if something's wrong, but at this time of year, people sleep with their windows closed. So I hope that he's not going to yell during the night forever, because we're gonna have to soup it. So yeah, I'm thinking whatever went in there, it had to be able to get the chicken out. How? I don't know. It's a mystery, but I don't want another chicken to be poached. So yeah, I just realized I forgot my bucket, but my bowl. We are going to go, I think, not yet in the greenhouse, because there's probably tons of bees in there, so I'm going to wait a little bit. But I can see the garden right now. I'm going to turn you guys around to show you what it looks like. And I think it sucks, because on the camera you can't really see. It gets like all lost, and it's kind of chaotic, so you can't really see like the big picture, but whatever. So I feel that just from here, it's just bloomed so much. So I'm happy about that. It makes me have peace with my garden. There are so many flowers that popped like these. The fun thing is that I forgot that I planted so many flowers. So these bloomed, and I was like, whoa. I've never seen this before, and I'm pretty sure that I just bought something at the store and planted it and hoped for the best, and the best is that. Same with these that I find beautiful. So I'm really happy that it was my plan. I know that I planted these there to have them at the front when we come in the garden, we can see my puny plants that still manage to produce some nice tomatoes. I always find it funny when you have like a tiny plant and it managed to reproduce. It's a fighter. This, I think this is a morning's glory. Now it's closing its flowers because the sun is going down, but look at this. It went all the way up. This is what I wanted to show at my visit, but it was not. It was like here. So it's really looking great. When it's blooming, it's even better. My sunflowers all grew. See, this one is, she wants to come here. She just tied herself up there. Sunflowers that bloomed, same here. This one is looking great. I've eaten so many ground cherries and my kids love them. Last year they didn't, so I'm really happy about that. So there are many things that went so wild. I was able to harvest here a few Freya, Vita, a few beans, but not that I see that I can harvest a few of them still. Sally, could you feed? These are called, how are they called? I don't know. It's in French it's called chardon, and it's a weed, something I've been fighting for the past years. And this year I realized that they had many wonderful wonderful benefits in tea and such. So I think I'm going to start harvesting these. So I came out today and wanted to harvest. These are the lima beans. Yeah, I made a soup with my first batch of these and it was so good. And it was one of those soups that, you know, I forgot about it and put some small tiny pastas in there, and like orzo, and they just puffed, and it was like a huge mess, but it was really good. So this, I think this bed is where I've had the most tomatoes. I have no idea what these are. This year I was actually pretty good to tag my tomatoes, but I might have some kids that took them, because on some of them I know I put them everywhere. I sowed some things, so I don't know what this is, but it's like those little pear-shaped tomatoes, but not the yellow ones. On this side might be one of my best bigger tomatoes, I think, because it's not eaten yet. I am hesitant on picking it because everything is eating everything, but I like to eat a tomato ripe on the vine. My celery went well this year, and this is like the abandoned bed because of that lone bee. But I mean, I need to check these later and see which ones are eaten and not. But we can see that I have a few rotting on the ground, but the bee always comes out. I've had some really nice tomatoes. See this one, I just decided to just leave it there because it's all eaten, but it's my biggest tomato ever that has ever ripened on the vine. And we've had some big wins, and my oldest tutors just collapsed. I'm doing something like very brief right now because my goal was not to come and do a garden tour, but I mean, I wanted to show a little bit. So these, I know I've had some esterinas that are my favorites over in this tower and in my garden and in my greenhouse, which is really nice. So yeah, I think I'm going to harvest everything that has a little bit of color. This one collapsed too. I need to get my drill out and like make some serious holes and drill things. But I think I'm ready to cut a few of these plants. When fall comes, I'm always on the fence on what to do with my beds, because I can leave everything there for as long as I can, because since the season is already so short, do I really want to like take the initiative to take everything off, or just let things go and have the plants die off? Or I can also like just cut everything and close the bed and like see you next year, which I think would be the best thing to do for spring me, because I'm really discouraged when spring comes and that's not done. But I'm also lost a little bit on what to do with my fall crops, because I did plant a lot of fall crops, but I'm going to see, I think, bed by bed, because I did plant some carrots that are growing and things like that. So I do not have to actually like prepare the whole bed. I mean, if half the bed is ready, that's going to be that. But oh, I have some tatsoi. It's eaten a little bit, but I'm really happy about that because I didn't have any this year, and I did plant this a few weeks ago, hoping to have it for fall, and here it is. So this is going to survive, I'm pretty sure, at least another month, maybe more. So that I'm really happy. These are, I think they are cabbages. I did plant like random things everywhere. I have this teeny tiny melon that is my first ever melon that's been growing outside of the greenhouse. So I'm crossing my fingers. It didn't grow like at all in the past month, so I don't know what's going to happen with it, but I hope something's going to happen so we can eat it. I mean, in a bed like this, I can clearly just like cover this part, maybe even here, because I have some kind of brassica here, but it's clearly all eaten up. So this can all go. I can maybe keep my ground cherry there, but I mean, this didn't produce anything. It's full of flowers. I mean, it's okay for for green tomatoes, it's fine, but flowers, it's clearly too late. So I could just prepare this half of the bed and maybe right here, and when this is done, I mean, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I have this bed here that I really need to harvest. That's not something I'm going to do tonight. I can still wait. This is krasny. I've shown you a few times. I'm not going to dig. Each time I talked about this to someone, I dig one up, so I'm not going to dig one. But it's these teeny tiny roots that clearly produces really well, because last year I've planted just a little part here. So this bed is now my krasny bed. It works like potatoes. When you forget one potato in the ground, it just reproduces like crazy. But imagine the potatoes all being like this tiny, and you miss a ton of them, which is cool because I have all this free food for this year. This bed, I mean, it's tomatoes that are flowering. These are crazy berries, crazy cherry tomatoes. I have some celery, but this could be, I think it could be close to, but I did plant on this little part here on the other side some carrots, but I don't think anything grew except weeds, of course. On this side, when I tell you I didn't come here for weeks, I did weed all this bed and planted some carrots. I'm happy because there are some carrots growing, but clearly this can be like completely closed. I can just mulch everything around the carrots. For some reason, my dog has been behaving so well with the chickens, but she goes crazy with the turkeys. I think she would try to snap them if she had access to them. But she's been excited around chickens, but never as much as with the turkeys. I realize I really need to hurry because the sun is going down. I need to harvest. I'm going to assume all my little peppers are spicy ones because my daughters ate some spicy ones a few weeks ago, and I did not know they were spicy, but they realized it for me. So these are all micro dwarfs tomatoes that I'm going to harvest. On this side, these big ones are struggling, but these are my favorite. They are Esterinas. They are the only hybrid tomato I grow, but they are just that good. In these beds, all I did was plant my overload of tomato plants, which, I mean, I'm going to have a few tomatoes in there, and at least something grew. So I need to just dig through this, and it tells me that my supports were not strong enough. And the best tomatoes I've had are on the other side. I bought this. Isn't that cute? These are the best tomatoes I've had. Yeah, I was talking about my first one, but look at these. How sad is that? How sad is that? I was able to produce these tomatoes, but look at this fella. I'm so disappointed. This would have made some awesome sandwiches. I don't know how many actual tomato sandwiches I made with my own tomatoes from the garden. I always have so many of them from tomatoes that are coming from the farmer's market, but my own, I'm not sure. I know it happened, but like sometime this time of year with tomatoes from the greenhouse and like a few of them, but I'm really disappointed about that. On this side, I have this kale that is just like so glorious. I didn't touch it for all summer, and it's like that right now. So I guess it's going to bolt eventually. I'm going to harvest it eventually too when we don't have as many tomatoes. And for this garden, I'm going to see how much energy I have this fall. My goal is to get it advanced a little bit more, but I mean, it's so much work. I know it's obvious that it's so much work, but this year I've exhausted myself with the garden. I think the visit was too much for me. I wanted to make it look pretty, and that's not the goal. So this year I think I'm going to try these tarps. I mean, I'm using them for my pathways, but maybe for a few years I can use them on some and I don't have to do hugel culture that they call. I'm going to see what I'm doing, because I really want this part to be done, but man, it's so much work. And I figured what I'm going to do there. I found this solar clock on Marketplace. I'm just trying to figure out if I'm painting it or not, but I'm looking at the sun and I really need to get to get going. I wanted to film myself harvesting. I don't think I'm going to do that because I'm going to run out of time, but I'm going to try to show you guys what I harvested. So that's it. Thanks again for hanging out with me, and see you next time. Bye.